AJ.
I was thinking, how do I get it there? Oh, see here. Oh. I know, it's even
Nano, you stole all the creamer again. Yeah, that's my good spot.
You have to eat. You have to buy some.
Like yesterday morning, I wanted bacon for dinner. Stop telling everybody.
Where'd you get those drinks? Right, guys, get
By the church.
grab my jacket.
Wait, you want mine?
Grab something else anyway.
Have you gone to the one?
Yeah, they're all the same. I'm just gonna like move my stuff out of your way real quick. Turn those scissors around or something. It would be like a really fun. Do you guys think, I'm Linda D'Amico with Colgate. Should I use the microphone or how do you feel about that? Am I loud enough? I see how it is.
If Jessica would be quiet, she would.
You can hear okay? And there's more expected to file in, I heard, right? Do you guys think they'll pretty much fill most of the room? No, okay.
Down here.
Just the first few rows, so you guys can hear me okay? Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you for letting me come in. Like I said, my name is Linda D'Amico, and I am an academic manager with Colgate, and I just recently got this role with Colgate, being an academic manager, so I call all the schools now and see you guys. Prior to that, I've been with Colgate for 10 years. I was an oral care consultant or sales rep for half of Arizona, and I actually still live in Arizona, and I flew in to see you guys. So for 10 years I did that. I worked for other companies prior to that, some dental companies. I did a little bit of sales. I worked full-time hygiene. I graduated from hygiene school in the 90s. And I know, it's like just yesterday, the 90s. And after that, I mainly worked in general dentistry. I did a lot of temp work, so I've been a little bit everywhere. And then I really focused on perio, so I mainly worked in perio. Who loves perio? Right? We're in this. We love perio. Sometimes, you know, now that I switched over to sales and now academic, I was in Hackathon, but anyway. So I wanted to come in, and Ms. Loomis asked me to come in and give you guys like kind of a Colgate overview, product update. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm actually doing it from our website, thecolgateprofessional.com, which you all have access to. You can go to the main page, and there's a lot on there. And in an hour, I don't really, I won't be able to go through everything, but I wanted to go through some of the new and exciting stuff. Are you guys currently using Colgate products in your clinic, or?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Toothbrushes.
The toothbrushes, great. By the way, we did set out samples, and if you want, because I know you guys are eating and we started, you can grab the samples when we're done. You know, make sure to grab one. I brought the Slim Softs, I have the 360s, I have some literature on the Prevident line and varnish, and toothpaste, and the Enamel Protect toothpaste, and also Sensitive and the new Total. And I'm going to go through all that with you guys here. Great. You know, what's great about having, whether it's Colgate, other brands, the mix of things, it's all in your toolbox of what you talk to and recommend to patients. And, there's a lot of things out there. And so I want to go through all the Colgate stuff for you so you have that background and you know what Colgate products, if that's what you want to recommend, and hopefully by the end you will, to your patients. And then feel free, to ask me questions along the way if you'd like. I'm going to go through various products, the new stuff, and I'll play a couple videos for you guys too. So hopefully the volume is on here too. So basically, when you go to our website, you can say, you can say you're not, but no, I would say I am a dental professional. And this is the home page, and anytime you need to go back, you can go here. We do have something new that we just launched on the West Coast. It's the new Colgate Optic White Professional chair size and take-home whitening system. Have any of you seen this or heard anything about it? You did? You said?
Something like it.
Something like it? Okay. So are you thinking something like it, like just a tray system, maybe another brand?
Oh, I've seen it on Instagram with purple light.
Yeah. This is not that. It's the good thing. But yes, it does seem like there's a lot of things on social media. But I'll be really clear with you. This is our professional whitening system that's new and new technology, and I'm going to go through that. You can only get it through a dental professional, through yourselves, through an office, through the school. This is not on Instagram, and it's different technology. I'm also going to go through and share with you some updates on the Prevident line. Do you guys use Prevident or prescription fluoride? Are you prescribing? Okay. I'll go through the updates with that. And I also wanted to update you on the new Colgate Total. Are you aware that Colgate Total, we changed our active ingredients? No, good, because I'll go through that with you as well. And then I'm going to go back here and start over. So I'm going to tell you about the whitening first, since that's where we started. So this is our new professional tray system, and it is ionic technology, and I'm going to pass one around to show you. I'm going to play this video first.
Professional whitening is important.
No, did I just mute it?
I believe a smile is an important social asset. People want whiter teeth, but the whitening process, whether at home or in office, can be different. Whether you currently offer whitening at your office or if they do. Perhaps you wish the experience included minimal chair time, a comfortable patient experience, and a simple process. Now, there's a new, innovative way to transform your patient's whitening experience. Introducing Colgate Optic White Professional, available exclusively to dental offices. Colgate Optic White Professional is a professional whitening system that uses powerful ionic technology to give your patients fast, effective whitening without light or heat. The process of whitening in office or at home is made easy using advanced ionic technology. Simply touch the button to start the whitening process. The button initiates a precisely controlled low electrical current in the mouthpiece. The electrical current stimulates a pH change in the formula that drives peroxide activity. To demonstrate how Colgate Optic White Professional in-office system gives your patients a whiter smile, we exposed model teeth to a mixture of red wine, coffee, and tea for 24 hours. Then, we took the stained model teeth and placed them in the Colgate Optic White Professional device, containing a specially formulated whitening gel, and activated the ionic process with a touch of a button. The model teeth were noticeably whiter, even through tough stains. Designed for comfort and no tooth sensitivity, we offer both in-office and at-home options, so patients can whiten where they want, when they want. In-office whitening is a short treatment, only 30 minutes of chair time, whereas at-home whitening requires no chair time and consists of just one 10-minute treatment per day for 10 days. No investment in additional equipment applies to both options. With our comfortable, portable whitening device, patients are free to move about, use phones, read, or watch TV during treatment, and patients get noticeably whiter teeth with Colgate Optic White Professional. Clinical studies show 7.75 shades improvement for in-office whitening and 8-shade improvement for at-home whitening. 27% of patients achieved an A1 or better in office. Colgate Optic White Professional, a positive reaction at the touch of a button.
So what'd you guys think of that? So it's different. What I'm also going to show you here is it's a touch button. It's an all-in-one tray. If any of you made trays before for whitening, you do that. You have to mix up the alginate, take impressions. It's a very long process. So the neat thing about ours, there's a lot of new things about the device, and I'm going to pass it around. So basically, it's all in one with the tray, and the patient, whether it's the chair side, which I don't have time to go through, but the chair side is 3 10-minute treatments, and it's a 35% hydrogen peroxide. The take home is a 9%, and that's professional strength. Carbamides are around 39%, equates to about a 27. Peroxide typically, or is, acidic, and for it to be stable, it has to be about 5.5%, or I'm sorry, 5.5 pH is what peroxide is at. With this new technology with our tray, when you start the process, it actually raises the pH to about a 9, so it becomes alkaline. So there's virtually no sensitivity. We get the shade improvement, and it activates the gel, and it actually, we have studies that show it actually improves the whitening process. You get a better result quicker, and doesn't dehydrate the teeth. Have any of you done professional whitening with the trays yourselves? You know how like the first day it feels really dry and you kind of have that chalkiness? Yeah, so you don't really get that back with ours. And basically, and I'll pass the tray around, it's a 10-minute system, so the patient turns it on after they've applied the gel, and when it turns green, the 10-minute process starts. You can do upper and lower at the same time, and then it's fully waterproof, so it's really great. It's all in one. There's little openings, you'll see. You see these little holes, and you'll see on the facial an opening in a metal bar. The technology is positive, and I'm going to play a couple more videos that just take a minute, how that works. It's a positive and negative reaction, basically. And the gel, one little ampule for each arch, and you fill it completely so it goes facial and lingual for the process to work. It's really simple and easy to use. So I'll pass that around so you guys can see it. Actually, that's a good question. It is, and it gets you get 50 treatments out of one tray, which is pretty good because if you do the 10 days, that's your 10 right there. And then you basically have 4 more times. And most people with even touch-ups, might only do 6 months. So it's all in one there, right? And then, so speed and comfort, no sensitivity, 7-shade whitening improvement, the take-home kit, and then the chair-side kit. The tray is the same. The chair side has the gingival barrier, and you actually apply that first, and you do 10 minutes. You take it off, you do 10 more. There's videos on this. I don't have the time today to go through all of that, but I will show you. Let me show you the instructions, though, for at home.
Welcome to the Colgate Optic White Professional Experience. As you will soon see, Simply Beautiful Whitening is now beautifully simple. For those patients who decide to whiten their teeth at home, everything a patient needs is inside the take-home kit. So let me show you the contents of the kit and step-by-step of what you're going to do. Now, let's get started. Take out the whitening device. Use 2 gel tubes for each application. 1 gel tube for the top side and another for the bottom side of the whitening device. Some people prefer to start with a little bit less gel. Results may vary depending on how much gel you use. Now, grab 1 gel tube and twist off the safety seal at the tip. Squeeze gel from the tube to evenly fill the floor of the device. Start from the center and move outward, creating a continuous line. Do the same from the center dot to the other side. You can use the tip of the tube to evenly spread the gel along the bottom of the tray. Now, turn the device over. Don't worry, the gel is thick and it will not leak when turned upside down. Now, repeat the same process with the second gel tube on the other side. It's important not to put the gel too high in the mouthpiece. The gel should not touch your gums when you put the device in your mouth, as it may burn. Press the gray activator button and the indicator light will turn orange. Wait until the indicator light turns green, which means the whitening gel is now ready for use. Position the mouthpiece so that the green light is facing upwards and insert the whitening device into your mouth. Make sure your upper and lower teeth are seated completely in the whitening device. Also, make sure no gel is touching your gums. If you feel bleach touching your gums, remove the tray and rinse out your mouth. Wipe any excess bleach from the tray and then reinsert the whitening device. Keep the whitening device in your mouth for 10 minutes. Feel free to relax, move about, and read while you're whitening your teeth. When the indicator light goes out, Remove the whitening device carefully so that no gel touches your gums. You're on your way to whiter, brighter teeth. Now, let's talk about how to clean up after application. First, rinse your mouth thoroughly with water. Then, clean the whitening device using a light stream of water. Remove the remaining gel with a soft toothbrush if needed, using a gentle motion. Do not use your fingers to clean the device. Dry thoroughly with a paper towel. Make sure the whitening device is clean and dry when returning to its case. Make sure to wash your hands after handling the device. Repeat this process once a day for 10 days total treatment. Remember, you should avoid eating or drinking for 30 minutes after each treatment. Thank you for choosing Colgate Optic White Professional.
Looks pretty easy, right? And then all the videos, when you're showing a patient, they can access as well. I was trying to make it see. There we go. Okay, I guess that's what happened. Did you have a question?
When you turn the button on, what is it doing?
Okay, so I'd like to show you, I can show you the mode of action here, I have a little video too. So that is a good question. Basically how it's working, the positive and negative electrons, I'll show you how it works. That's when the process starts. Because typical whitening, like what you're used to when you put it in the tray, the pH is that 5.5, it's acidic. And that's how peroxide typically does whiten. With this, the great thing is the way it works, it actually raises the pH to alkaline. That's why we don't have the sensitivity, and that's how the reaction works. So when you turn, it's not doing anything until you turn the button. So you help me segue right to the next one here.
How does the advanced ionic technology in the Colgate Optic White Professional system deliver a positive reaction at the touch of a button? To demonstrate, we took a solution of 6% hydrogen peroxide in saline and placed it in the mouthpiece of the Colgate Optic White Professional device. At the touch of a button, the device is activated and a gentle electrical current stimulates an ionic process in the solution, gradually turning it from blue to clear. This change in color represents the mode of action of the Colgate Optic White Professional system with a specially formulated whitening gel. This process provides fast, noticeable whitening without light or heat. Colgate Optic White Professional, a positive reaction at the touch of a button.
Okay, so that kind of explained it like briefly. Yes.
So if it does change the pH of it, how come they recommend to take the device out if you feel it's touching the gums?
Okay, so that's a good question.
Within the peroxide gel,
It's intended to be on the end. So, and I've done this whitening system, I've done others. No matter what, it's still consistent with peroxide. So if it gets on the gum, it can irritate. It's not really going to cause any damage per se, but always just, I tell any patient or yourselves, when you put any tray on and then if the gel comes up, you just want to wipe it off real quick. So you just really don't want, because you don't really need it on the gums. At worst, it causes that little bit of blanching. Have any of you had that happen before where you get that little bit of like a blister effect? Does it go away within like a day? It's usually a temporary thing. What we have found is actually if you use, and especially with like the chair side, a little bit of vitamin E, like the little capsules, you could just cut the tip off and put a little bit of vitamin E and it helps it heal quicker. So, but yeah, because even though it's alkaline, the process is actually happening in the tray on the facial side. So, I'll show you a little bit about the science here too.
Hello, my name is Nathan Davis, and I'm the Director of Technology for the Device Plus Chemistry team at Colgate-Palmolive. I'd like to outline how the Optic White Professional Electrochemical Whitening Tray can augment the tooth whitening process through a series of demonstrations that show the mode of action and explain the fundamentals of the system. But first, let's explain a little about electrochemistry. By applying a voltage across two electrodes, placed in a conductive environment, we can accelerate reactions that would otherwise be slow, or we can force reactions to occur that otherwise would not. This video shows a classic demonstration that uses a 9-volt battery, a couple of screws drilled and sealed into a plastic beaker, a couple of glass vials, and water to highlight what's possible with electrochemistry. By applying a voltage across the screw electrodes, we can break down the water into its gas constituents, hydrogen and oxygen. We can even collect the gas that's generated in the glass vials. Note that there's about twice the amount of hydrogen gas in this vial as in the other. In other words, H2O. And we know that we have gas that's hydrogen in one of the vials because we can ignite it. So electrochemistry processes can be powerful. In this animation, we're representing the electrochemical whitening tray. We've added red wine to a 9% peroxide gel. Now we turn on the power. Electrochemical reactions start immediately with different reactions occurring at each electrode. Hydrogen gas is generated at the negative electrode and oxygen at the positive from the water contained within the peroxide gel itself. These so-called half reactions also give changes to local pH levels. The pH is higher at the negative electrode and lower at the positive electrode. It's the higher pH at the negative electrode that drives the bleaching reaction at the front face of the teeth. The reaction can be seen in this chart. pH drivers are what drive the pH high and low. There's a bleaching agent that's created from the peroxide of the negative electrode. We know the pH has a significant effect on the whitening efficacy of the hydrogen peroxide. In this experiment, we add varying levels of a base formula to solutions of saliva, 9% peroxide, and red wine. Adjusting the pH from 5.7 to 10.8, you can clearly see the bleaching effect of the higher pH levels. Now it's necessary for peroxide gel to be stabilized and the pH to be at around 5.5. For long-term shelf life reasons, the gel's pH has to be low. However, if we can increase the pH of the gel during use on demand with the electrochemical tray, we will augment the whitening efficacy. This is how the Optic White Professional Electrochemical Tray works. In this chart, you can see the whitening benefit as a function of pH. Delta W is the whitening measure. The more negative the value, the whiter the teeth. This was a lab test with bovine teeth and 9% peroxide gel at two different pHs, 5.2 and 9.5. You can see that at a gel pH of 9.5, after one 10-minute treatment, we're able to achieve the same level of whiteness as after more than 3 treatments at the lower pH of 5.2.
So it works much faster.
You can see the effect in the following demonstrations. The image at the left shows the tray with a clear gel that contains a colored indicator that only becomes colored when the gel pH goes above pH 8. You can see how this effect occurs quite quickly at the negative electrode. With the red wine containing peroxide gel, you can see the same effect with the power on versus the power off. In fact, nothing much happens with the power off in the same time frame. The peroxide is incapable of bleaching the red wine over that short time period. The higher pH, driven by the voltage, forces the bleaching reaction to occur in the tray with the power on. The effect of pH on bleaching efficacy is well documented in a number of respected journals, and some of the conclusions and journal references are shown here. In summary, the mechanism of action of the Optic White Professional Whitening Tray is quite simple. The applied voltage across the two electrodes with the conductive peroxide gel in between drives a pH change in the gel that elevates and accelerates the peroxide's ability to bleach stains. We hope this brief review of the efficacy of the new Optic White Professional Whitening System has been helpful, and hope that you will have an opportunity to try this new technology for yourself soon. Your oral care consultant can answer any questions you may have about this revolutionary new tooth whitening technology. Thanks for watching.
Sorry, I'm a little technically challenged sometimes. So he explained that a little better than I could, but basically, it's working, and it's faster, and you don't get the sensitivity, and it raises the pH, all in that 10 minutes. And so it also doesn't dehydrate the tooth, or the teeth. It's not a light source. There's no burning. Have any of you? Did any of you work as dental assistants, or did you work in offices that did a lot of whitening? Did you do, at your office, they do a lot of chairside whitening?
We also did the Zoom whitening.
Okay. And with that, how'd the patients do sometimes?
Well, I did it myself, but I only laughed because it just hurt really bad. Like, really bad.
Right.
So
Yeah, so you lasted like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
on the chair
I got
side.
a bunch of dings and I was like, take it off.
Yeah. Yesterday I was at another school and a student shared that she thought she needed a root canal within 2 minutes. Yeah, on all her teeth.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm gonna like freak out now. So, and you, and anybody who's done it, you are so brave because I'll tell you, I saw stuff like that a long time ago when some of these chairside whitening systems first came out.
Yeah, it was
And
10 years ago when I
yeah,
did it.
I was like, I don't think so. So the nice thing is, and I just showed you, mainly the take-home one here, but our chair side is amazing. You don't get that effect. It's 35%. So it's the higher dose because it's for instant in office. You do the gingival barrier. You don't get it on the gums. And you guys can go. The reason I'm showing you from the website is you can go in and look that up and watch the videos on how the chair side works as well. But I even participated in a live demo, and actually Phyllis was with me, my manager, who's over here in the front. And honestly, I was actually going to volunteer to be the patient, which back in the day, there's no way I would have. People were walking out with pain medicines, if they did that. We had a student volunteer to do it because our original patient ended up not doing it. She wasn't there. So, you know what? We did it on her. We did the chair side, and she was like, I feel fine. It's fine. And a little bit got on her tongue, and we put the vitamin E, and she was fine. So didn't need any pain meds, didn't need to start crying, didn't need to run away. So the beauty of this system is, because of the way it works, you're not going to get that pain, and it's going to work. Now, as far as like the shade difference, like any whitening, it kind of depends on where they start. You do the measurements. I don't have time to go through all that, but how you do with whitening, the before, the after, and check the shades. And every tooth can be a little bit different, but it does work, and it's a really nice, easy system. Takes a lot less time. To make you want to try it, can you see that? So, let me see. I'm going to show you one more video on this, and then I'll move on to other products.
How can the Colgate Optic White Professional System give your patients a whiter, brighter smile at the touch of a button? To demonstrate, we exposed model teeth to a mixture of red wine,
Oh, did I?
coffee, and tea for
They showed
24
this one
hours.
already, huh? You know what? I'm not going to show you that then again.
Then, we took the stained model teeth and placed them in the Colgate Optic White Professional device containing specially formulated whitening gel.
Okay, this is how I get out of it. Go to watch more videos. Okay, so that was part of the other video. So, any other questions on the whitening?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that eccentric, or is like, how does it work, the whitening? Does it come from the inside out, or it comes from the outside? Like, for example, let's say someone has some razors on, some brackets, or something in the tooth, let's say glued on. Would that still bleach the whole tooth, or would that part that is covered would get not bleached at all?
So your question is, are you saying like if there's something like on the enamel, like
braces?
Like braces,
Yeah.
okay. So that's what I was thinking. Or like cement, or, restoration.
Something that is not like a restoration.
Okay.
Maybe like exactly like bracers, like
Right.
for the ortho patients. Can we still bleach?
I wouldn't. I don't know if we have anything that clearly states that, just because, as you know, it's better to wait until all the treatment is done with orthodontics. It's not like we really have direct studies on whitening with ortho, because
Yeah.
as you know, it's just like, if you have composites or anything, you definitely, with this whitening or any whitening system, want to really qualify the patient. Is this ideal? Is this, the
But-
right time? Because no, it's not. It's really intended to work. It does work intrinsic. It goes through the tubules of the enamel rods. And, I'm not time-wise able to go through that. I actually have like a 2-hour presentation on the whitening system, but basically it's going through the tubules and lightening from the inside out.
Okay, that was the
Yes.
actual question. Thank you.
So thank you for the question. But yeah, I think with as you know, there's some folks who, you got to set up their expectations. And if you're a heavy smoker, if you're a major coffee drinker, tea, red wine, all that, it does work. As you saw, it will lighten it. But if you continue to have these, practices, I guess, you're going to need to touch up more often. So, yes.
Does it come in because some people have bigger mouths or like a bigger arch. Is there
Very good question. It actually, and I forgot to show that, you actually can bend it out and you can push it in. And I try not to do that with my one demo I was given. But yes, so it does adjust. And in the video, it showed one where the light was a little bit different. That was our prototype, and that's actually the one I used. The prototypes, you couldn't do that. So the new one, you can. So for the majority of people, this is going to work. You could get that patient with that really huge, smile line, but you're still, as they call it like the sweet six. That's mainly what you want whitened. It just kind of goes off. For the technology to work, all those little areas have to really be covered, as you saw in the one demo. So for the most part, it's going to fit the majority of people this size. Yeah, we don't want to make it too big because most people, it'll just, this is all they need. So, but, okay. So what I also wanted to show you, I brought samples of the brushes, and I'm not really going to go through the different types of brushes today in order of time, but I do want to share with you about Colgate Total. We did change the active ingredients. Colgate Total, the original, had been around since 1997, so it was time to update. And yep. So original Total, anyone know what was in the original Total? What was the active ingredients? Anyone remember?
It was sodium fluoride.
Sodium fluoride, yes.
And
There was something else. Yes. Not everyone remembers that, which is funny. But yeah, for a long time, since 1997, pretty much since I got out of hygiene school, like a year later, Colgate Total had those same two active ingredients. Sodium fluoride is really just anti-caries. It's not antibacterial. It's not. Triclosan was the antibacterial component, and FDA, ADA, still backed it up. It was safe and effective. It was very effective. But we worked on a new formula for about the last 10 years, and we launched the new formula earlier this year. And really with fluorides for over-the-counter toothpaste, you have sodium fluoride, sodium monofluorophosphate, and you have stannous fluoride as your choices. And the stannous fluoride is what we went with, but we added a second ingredient to it. It's zinc phosphate. Colgate has a unique formula. We stabilized the stannous fluoride, so it's antibacterial, and I'm going to go through this. It's killing plaque and the whole mouth. It's now not just the teeth, which are 20% of the mouth, you're getting the full 100%, the other 80% on the soft tissues as well. And it works for sensitivity too, because it's a stannous. Does anyone, and then the zinc phosphate stabilizes it, so it stays active. You don't get any of the negative side effects. Anyone use stannous fluoride toothpaste and have any not so good experiences? Anyone not like them a little bit in the past? Usually, what would you say? You look like you were thinking on that.
I didn't hear the question.
Oh, so like stannous fluoride. Any side effects you weren't happy about?
The past?
Patients?
The past? Staining?
Staining, taste, yeah. And that's because the stannous ion will deactivate when it hits air and water a lot of times. So it's kind of like a rusty key effect. It just, and so traditionally stannous fluoride is a great fluoride. It's antibacterial, it has all these benefits, but those were some of the negative side effects. So the great thing about the new Colgate Total with the zinc phosphate is we have stabilized it, and it doesn't stain and it doesn't taste bad. So I'll show you a little video on that.
See what's possible with Colgate Total, an advanced fluoride toothpaste. Plaque-causing bacteria grow throughout the whole mouth. Saliva can transport bacteria to the teeth and gums from reservoir deposits on the cheeks and tongue. Ordinary non-antibacterial fluoride toothpastes protect teeth from cavities, but do not protect against bacterial repopulation. Colgate Total is different. Formulated with an advanced fluoride stabilized with zinc phosphate, it fights harmful bacteria throughout the whole mouth. It works in two ways. First, it kills harmful bacteria on the teeth, tongue, cheeks, gums, and saliva. This reduces the overall bacterial load, which can lead to reductions in plaque buildup and oral care problems. Secondly, it creates a protective barrier on the whole mouth. This helps shield against bacterial attachment and regrowth, preventing bacterial reservoirs from forming. In a clinical study, Colgate Total delivered superior reductions in bacteria versus ordinary non-antibacterial fluoride toothpaste. In addition to bacterial reductions, patients achieved superior reductions in plaque, tartar, gingivitis, and malodor versus ordinary non-antibacterial fluoride toothpastes in separate clinical studies. Colgate Total delivers comprehensive benefits for the whole mouth. Recommend Colgate Total today and help your patients achieve whole mouth health.
Okay, so I don't have time to go through all of the studies, but the studies that were done on Colgate Total, there was a supplement in the April 2019 JADA. And I'm going to leave some of these for you guys, and you can access a lot of the information on the website too. But yeah, now Colgate Total has all of these benefits: plaque reducing, enamel strengthening, fresh breath, caries, whitening, sensitivity because it actually includes the tubules, and calculus reduction. And this is one of the studies on the plaque index versus ordinary fluoride toothpaste. And this is the reduction at 3 months and 6 months. And I can show you how it creates a protective barrier on here. Real quick, and then I will...
Colgate Total now actively fights bacteria in a completely new way. It reduces bacteria growth. Immediately after brushing, bacteria start to grow throughout your whole mouth. Let's test how Colgate Total reduces bacteria growth overnight. Human saliva was added to 2 dishes. Water is added to one, and Colgate Total to the other. To test bacterial growth, the dishes are placed in an incubator overnight. An indicator dye was added to turn the live bacteria pink and make it easier to see. The first dish has a significant amount of bacteria. The dish treated with Colgate Total has almost no bacterial growth. Colgate Total actively fights bacteria to help you achieve whole mouth health.
So pretty impressive, huh? I brought some samples here. This is the new Colgate Total. This is the only version that's on the market now. So, any questions on Total? You can go through the studies on here and look up more. Any questions on stannous fluoride or the Colgate Total? Has anyone tried it yet?
No.
Yeah? No? Well, you're going to get to.
Yeah.
Okay. So just kind of in a nutshell about the Total. So I also wanted to show you these little tabs on here. We have various resources, community initiatives. You can actually go through and find out ideas for outreach projects and materials to help with that. You can do printouts, patient education, professional content. For hygienists, we have the hygiene articles, COHA. We have free webinars on here. It actually links to it on the Oral Health Network. Educational tabs, and then I'm going to go through, well, let me start with the toothpaste. Because I wanted to give you guys just kind of an overview of the product updates. So I just went through Colgate Total. Hydrus is a dry mouth toothpaste that's over the counter in the stores. Have you guys seen that? Anyone ever seen that? Okay. It kind of, it's on the shelf, just like other brands for dry mouth. It has a hydrating effect, but. And then the enamel health is also for sensitivity, for enamel restoration. But the ones that I brought you were Total, and then the Colgate Sensitive. So this is our sensitive paste. I brought you some samples of it. Basically, this Total is stannous fluoride and it includes tubules for sensitivity reduction. The sensitive toothpaste has potassium nitrate in it, like other sensitives, but it has a really nice taste. So I brought you that one, so you can look up more info on that. And I wanted to make sure to show you prescription fluoride. to this one here. Are you guys familiar with the Prevident line prescription? So regular toothpaste is about 1,000, 1,200 parts per million sodium fluoride, and or stannous fluoride, I mean, with over the counter. And then prescription is 5,000 parts per million sodium fluoride. And we have different ones. We have regular like spearmint, we have Frutastic with tricalcium phosphate, and then we have sensitive, and we have dry mouth, and we just came out with the ortho one. And the sensitive has the potassium nitrate. Trying to get this to come up. Here we go. So basically, when you use Prevident, sometimes when you write a prescription, the pharmacy may substitute it for another one, but you want to make sure your patient, whether it's they're getting it in your office or from you, they get the booster line. The booster line has the faster fluoride uptake. How long do you think patients brush, or what do you think's the average? Or even your own family members, you know, some of mine.
45 seconds.
40, well, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a long time. As you know, the average patient or person only brushes about 30 seconds, if that, and hopefully, you know, twice a day, but probably once a day most likely. So with the Prevident booster, it's prescription strength, but what makes it different than just regular prescription strength fluoride is it's a patented liquid gel dispersion. It actually, have any of you ever tried any of the booster line? It looks like this, the tall tubes, or if you had them in your office. Basically, this is what's unique about it. Faster fluoride uptake by 26% within that first 30 seconds of brushing. Because you want your patient to get the maximum amount that they can get, and what's realistic is, you know, what they're going to actually use. And it's all in one. They can just use it at night. They don't have to brush their teeth first with the booster with regular toothpaste. It has a dentifrice in it. So any of these risk factors, do you guys see any of these patients? Do you see ortho, receding gum line? There's about, well, there's pretty much a million risk factors, I think, for why patients would need fluoride. And I have, like, you know, you guys have probably all seen the whole list, like, you know, people on medications, children with, a lot of children on medications actually could benefit from the prescription, and children in general because of oral hygiene, ortho, restorative, root caries, all of those risk factors. And let me go back. Go back to the top here. Sorry about that. So these are all resources you can actually print out and share with patients as to why you're recommending a prescription fluoride. Any questions on the Prevident and booster? So the new one is the Ortho Defense as far as new products go, and that was on the homepage. The Ortho one is for, it's just like a milder mint that's aimed at a taste that teenagers like, but it's still the same prescription strength, so. And then I'm going to also show you another new product. Anywhere, anytime. Have any of you seen this before? About a year ago, we relaunched it. We had a product. Did any of you ever try, or in your offices or at the school, the Sensitive Pro Relief? It was almost like in a paste form, like a Profi paste. You would polish it on as a desensitizer. You hadn't seen that? Yeah, it's kind of been gone for a little bit. So basically, we brought it back. So the Anytime or Anywhere Anytime is a desensitizing paste. It's a little tube that actually can be applied chairside for instant relief. Went away on me. There we go. Okay. For instant relief. So arginine and calcium carbonate act like almost like a magnet. Goes into the tubules. So when you have that patient in the chair is just really sensitive and you barely touch them with the probe and they're jumpy, this can be used instantly. They just take a little bit, and you can do it with your gloved finger, or the patient can do it and put it on those spots. One of these, and then they can take this home when the sensitivity comes back. The effect lasts about a good 4 weeks or so. It depends on their habits. But this is a great product that a lot of dental offices have been getting really excited about recently, that this is back, because it's instant desensitizing relief, and they actually get to take it home. So, and this little tube will actually, it's very concentrated, will last, it could last 6 months or a year or more, depending on how much they use. Yes?
You said it's back. Why was it taken off?
So that is a good question. This is actually the newest form in this container. So what we had, I guess sensitivity relief in 1 minute. What we had before was, actually go back up here. We basically we had the technology for quite a while, like I don't know how many years, over 5 years. So the arginine, which is an amino acid, was originally, we had it like in a huge tube, just kind of like varnish. It comes in the little individual sticks. You guys probably don't remember, but varnish used to come in the tube, and you'd squeeze some out, and then you just have to do it that way. And it was brown, and it was like a lot of people opted not to have it, and it was mainly for desensitizing varnish originally, and all those bad side effects. And then the clear varnishes came out, and now it's for caries treatment. But anyway, with this product, we came out with it in kind of like Prophy paste. You would actually apply it with the Prophy angle. So chair side, you identify patient is sensitive, a lot of recession, the air, water, everything bothers them. You could do it instantly. You just polish it on lightly. And it wasn't a Prophy paste in that it didn't remove stain, but you used it the same way. So that was great. And then we had the tube version where you could just squeeze a little bit out. We actually took it off the market a couple years ago, partly because, sometimes it was like they were about $1 a piece to the office. And so, there was that, not a lot of offices could purchase it. A lot of the doctors, didn't always see, I had, as a sales rep in Arizona, I had a lot of offices and a lot of hygienists. It was one of those products the hygienists loved. The doctors didn't always buy in that format. Okay. And I don't know what that is. Hopefully the door doesn't explode or something, or the chair. So anyway, the point is we kind of took it away for a little bit. We had a little bit of, the company that made the tubing. It's a long story, but we weren't 100% happy with them. So we took it away for a little bit, and then we test marketed it in this form. And actually found that people really like this, because the difference is, instead of just doing, kind of like prescription fluoride, like Prevident versus varnish. You want to do varnish, definitely your moderate, high-risk patients. And as a fluoride treatment, you do varnish. When I got out of school, that's not what it was for. But the great thing is, varnish is the best. And I did leave you guys some samples of the varnish for clinic, but of ours. Anyway, so it's great. But then I always think of what's the daily, what is this patient doing daily? The varnish is great, but what if they're only coming in every 6 months and they have all these issues? They have dry mouth, they're on medications, they have GERD, they have, there's just a whole myriad of issues that people have. I mean, who isn't on a medicine that's causing dry mouth, basically? Allergy medicine does that, ADHD meds do that. So pretty much everybody is high risk in my book, but anyone who's high risk, what are they doing daily? And so that's the beauty of the 5,000 parts per million, like the Prevident. If we're using this at least once a day, we're getting that benefit. So the nice thing about this, kind of segueing to this, is versus a one-time treatment in the chair, now they have it on hand. You do it in the chair, and then they can take this home. So the patient, some offices may bill it as a desensitizing treatment, and you can do that. And it's also, it doesn't damage tissues. It's, they can just put it on themselves. There's no risk factors at all with this. In the past, there's been desensitizing treatments, other things, not Colgate, that, could burn tissues a little bit. So this is great because it doesn't do any of that. It's very user-friendly and easy. They just rub it right on. So that's kind of why we kind of brought it back in a different format. And it's been really successful. So we just had, I wasn't there but at the ADHA at their national meeting, wasn't there a big launch kind of the new one? And was there a lot of buzz about it?
There's a lot of buzz. People that used to use it love it. The nice thing about it is if you think about your patients, how often do they have sensitivity in general? All the time, often. So you treat them when they're in the chair, just like if you do a complete prophy. How long does that last? A prolonged prophy, how long does that last? 6 months? So they don't have to brush in between? Oh, no. Unless, yeah, a couple hours. Well, people can be sensitive after they leave. This gives them the option of applying the sensitive paste anywhere, anytime. Get it? We're so clever. But when they're out with friends and family and want to have something cold, some ice cream, if you go skiing, people can't breathe in. It doesn't happen in Melinda, but you can't breathe in because the air is cold. But you know those things. This gives them the option to have that quality of life and be able to enjoy all those things. Anytime.
Anywhere, anytime.
So can I put it on my front teeth and bite into my ice cream?
I don't know if you'd really want to, the taste now.
But I mean, like,
It's very mild.
does it protect that much or no?
It basically occludes the tubules. So you know how like Denton, when it's exposed, in the recession areas, that's why you're getting that air and water sensitivity usually to cold. Like Phyllis said with the skiing and stuff like that. Ooh, a lot of people can't eat ice cream because of it. I wouldn't recommend putting it on and right away eating the ice cream, to be honest with you. I would put it on, basically, the effect should last about 4 weeks. Is it like putting a composite on or something like that permanently like kind of covers that? No, it's just kind of like how sensitive toothpaste, the potassium nitrate kind of has to build up into the tubules, and you have to constantly use that to keep that sensitive benefit going. When you stop using a potassium nitrate product, it kind of comes back, that effect goes away. But with this, it kind of like occludes them, so it just kind of depends on your habits. So usually you would put it on, typically we'd recommend, just like Prevenant. I would just mainly use it at night, so it really has that time to really settle in. So, and then you should be good with the ice cream the next day. It depends on the patient, and you also have to rule out other things going on. Do they have caries? Is there something else? Is there a dental infection or something else? It's obviously not going to work for that. So it's for true dentin hypersensitivity.
Yeah, because I had a patient that was whitening his teeth, and then he said that he can't eat ice cream sandwiches anymore. So he said he wants something
That's
to
so sad.
protect that sensitivity, and I was like,
That might not be
about
about
whitening.
Yeah. And usually with whitening, with any whitening or anything, using a prescription fluoride even a week ahead, like the Prevenant Sensitive, especially for people who, not the average person who maybe doesn't have sensitivity, but for those people who are like kind of hypersensitive, I would definitely have them use a prescription fluoride first, just because it gives them that extra boost and they should be on it. And yeah, I don't know, good or bad. It might be a good diet thing to not be able to eat the ice cream, but I brought you guys samples, so I want to show you real quick the Colgate Slim Soft toothbrush. This is our 17 times slimmer bristles, flexible neck, gets deeper, gets really interproximal and a little bit deeper subgingival, 6 times, 1.5 deeper interproximal access, so it's kind of like a floss tip brush. So I brought you that. I also brought you guys the 360 toothbrush, which we've had a while. Has the little latex-free polishing cups for stain removal. It also has the tongue-in-cheek cleaner on the back. So I brought you guys some of that. And then we have various brushes. Through the website, our offices can now do all of their ordering. You can order the Prevenant, you can order varnish, you can order brushes, do brush plans, you can order toothpaste, all of that through the professional website as well. And we're about out of time, so I wanted to thank you for letting me come in. And I also wanted to introduce Lori, is your local oral care consultant sales rep. she came right when I started, and brought you guys some stuff too, some little tooth books on the fluorides. And when you get out and you're working, Lori may come in your office. It's always beneficial to, that's why we call ourselves oral care consultants versus sales reps. We have a lot of information and updates and studies and whatever it is you're looking for, access to getting free CE, anything else that you might have a question on, besides ordering products. That's what we're here for. And so Lori may come in your office, and if you have even just a few minutes time, it's usually worth finding out what's new with Colgate. So any questions on anything? I just really showed you a few things, to be honest with you, in an hour. There's a ton of products, a lot of stuff, and you can always, access it. That's why I wanted to show it to you this way. Yes?
How much do the bleaching trays cost us? Is it different than just going and buying it?
Patient.
Actually, you can't. It has to be professional, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Very good question. One beauty thing, about it, another wonderful thing is you will not find our whitening this. You will not find this, on Amazon and all that. It is only available through dental offices. And that's important because your patient should come to you and get the proper instructions and use it correctly. Because if you don't use, all this stuff online, if they're not using it right, it's just, then they think it didn't work and all that. But cost-wise, right now, roughly the take-home kit is for offices, is about $100. And then they resell it for whatever they sell whitening kits for. And then the chair side, I think, is around $129, something like that. And I have to ask Lori because now I'm not in the sales side. And then it's a chair side treatment, and they get to take their tray home. And then refills are around, $20 or so. For schools, there is discounted pricing. We are exclusive with Shine. So as far as that goes, it's kind of new that we just launched it on the West Coast. Some of the schools I'm finding are, they're ordering kits through, you have to order through the school account. It's roughly half. So it's about $50 for a take-home kit is school pricing. Can you, as an individual, order it that way? No, but unless there is a way that you're doing that. And I actually, this morning we were on campus, and we're going to send the pricing info, over and stuff and see. Because some of the schools are starting to go, hey, we want to get it, or faculty or somebody wants to get them. And so however you guys do that is what I have to tell you on that. Anything else to add to that, Phyllis, or?
If you're interested in looking at it, I would suggest you have Linda come back and do a hands-on.
This is true.
Not extensive, it doesn't take half a day, but have a hands-on because the technique's different. If you looked in those videos versus what you've done with bleaching now, you put the bleach just on the facial surface of the tray, and basically you go K9 to K9, right? If you don't cover the whole floor of that tray, facial and lingual, all the way to that dot in the back, you don't get that ionic transfer because the gel needs to cover that tray for the electrical current to pass through and raise the pH on the facial aspect. So if people don't use it right, and even practicing hygienist, we did the whole hands-on it. Times to go. The lights went down.
Oh, no, perfect.
I know, I was like, who did
Now I can
that?
see it.
It was the ghost. I don't know.
So even practicing hygienists had trouble kind of changing habits. Your habits are easier to change because they're not as deeply ingrained. But I would suggest you have Linda come back in, and then she can work with the bookstore on seeing how you can get it through the store.
And that, like I said, I've been with Colgate 10 years, but I'm kind of newer to the academic side. That's why I have Phyllis here. Stuff like that, I'm still kind of figuring out the details on. So is that how a lot of schools are doing it? Then you can order, okay. So hopefully I'll be back to do a whitening presentation soon. And there's a much longer. And then if we did like a, however that would work, a chair side. I've done it before, and you just schedule a little extra time. But yeah, we could totally do something like that. Hopefully, I'll have to figure out getting scheduled for that. So, but it's really, really neat. Any questions on anything? You guys are good? Thank you for letting me come in. I really appreciate it. And definitely grab one of everything. And I had a lot of samples sent for you guys for your outreach, for clinic and stuff. So Miss Loomis has all that. I have the brushes, literature. I have like little summary of the toothpaste and the Prevident. I didn't really get a lot of time to go through all that. I mean, every one of those products could be its own presentation, but I had to show some of the studies. So definitely grab in the books. Enough we can have some.
I don't like this. It's because I threw my shoe. He threw my shoe away from me. And I want it. When I got them, I think it was actually for you. Jamie even has those. They want them in the binders.
I was taking x-rays and then he put second skin down there. And it's going to be
Stay up all night reading.
Oh, the anytime, yeah.
Do you guys want more books? These are really nice chairs. I think it talks about our food.
Yes. Yeah, okay. I have time.
I'm so sorry all the time.
So I'll give you a little secret. Oh, they're great chair side. Instructional stuff. Thank you. Good. And I have more.
I don't like the
Rachel, go back.
Oh, I am.
Oh, thanks, Rachel. You're so nice.
No problem. I picked it up for you.
So I think can I grab like 3? What you need to do is it's tons of main rapid release. So Mom's like, you can go to CVS and buy it. Ahead. What does the M stand for? An M? I knew it. Motivation? So they still should brush.
It's just like a toothbrush.
It's a toothpaste. And make sure when you
Thank you. Do you have any classmates that aren't here? Did you get a book?
Yes, I did.
Do you have classmates that aren't here? We'll have Professor Loomis get the stuff.
with arginine. So that's a little secret.
These books.
You know, the anytime anywhere is kind of like your side and then they have the instructions.
And I understand your
Yeah, but this online,
I just don't know.
But yeah, it's I have a full box. Prototypes. I got one and it's lasted like she said. So hopefully, you know.
Miss Loomis, let me go on. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your card.
Oh, thank you.
What did you get?
Did you get there?
We're gonna see.
I like to talk to my students. Like, okay.
Because I know you wanted everything evidence based.
Yes, I love that.
And then like good teacher total studies. I could have.
You want me to help you with this?
Did you get your samples?
Yeah.
Everybody got their samples because the rest I'm keeping.
Yours for it. So we already kind of like established like the
You want me to help you with this?
Yes.
yeah.
It's all about
So I
samples.
get a sample.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep some for people on.
Yeah. Converters.
Thank you for having me.
Nice meeting you.
Where do you want me to take this?
To my office. I agree with you.
Yes. You know what? I'm gonna grab a box.
This is good. It's at my throat.
Avoid difficult patients.
I'm gonna bring the stuff out here, Linda, for you that I have.
Thank you.
Switch your spots. Shows the website where they can get it. Thank you. All right.
Ariana.
Oh, yes. So hang on, so they don't get sensitive. Let's just, okay, everybody gets samples. Yeah, okay. That's true. Let me first.
This is the one that
Everybody here has got samples. Okay.
Is there extras?
Did you get a sample already? I got what I need. That's what I need. The rest are for people who aren't here. Everybody separate.
You're trying to give me
Just know the friends that just called the number.
This water fountain comes down and this one. Oh. I can't get enough. I'm pretty sure.
No, but it's not Are you gonna text her on the phone? Are you gonna be there the whole day or what?
Anybody else? What does it mean, Mitzi? Is it bad? Goodness!
Don't leave yet. Because I'm in front of device.
Tell her that. What did you say?
Has a
You guys ready?
Is it this line or that line?
3 in a row.
I think you're good.
And then Catalina, do you move or Laura moves? I can't have back next to each other, so. Laura, do you want to move forward? Is that your computer? Is that your computer? Okay. So I can't have next to each other. Can you move forward? Thank you. You guys ready?
Quiz 5, right?
Quiz 5.
Let's do it. Oh, the people in HIV.
Okay. Everybody ready? All right, here we go, guys. We're going to start the quiz.
Hit me.
Learn 4.
See you on the other side, Mr. Nice.